A junior minister stood up. He did not say that he has been assigned by the Minister of Finance to do the work. The record will have Minister of Finance, the Honorable Matia Kasaija, yet it is one of his juniors who has come to represent him. I am only concerned because they answered here, people do use it for many reasons, including academic. So the reason I stated the Rule 8, it is not provided explicitly anywhere that people must introduce themselves properly when they are assigned by their superiors. That's what I was drawing to your attention, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, we received a rota from the government, from the Read of Government Business, which shows a day which minister should be here, representing a ministry. Okay? Not representing a senior minister, but representing a ministry. And we take record of that. I don't think it's problematic in any way in terms of us capturing the record. I will cross-check with the clerk. We see if we find it problematic, then we can always insist. But it's a ministry. Okay? It's a ministry. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I rise to raise a procedural matter under Rule 72, Sub-Rule 2. And with your permission, let me read it verbatim. The conduct of the Speaker, members, the Chief Justice, and judges of the Courts of Judicature shall not be raised except upon a substantive motion and in any amendment, question to a member, or remarks in a debate on a motion dealing with any other subject. Any reference to the conduct of persons mentioned is out of order. Right Honourable Speaker, I was in this House when my land brother, the Minister of Justice, was making presentations, and he made mention of your conduct in respect of the Honorable Semuju, that you are in some unknown corporation. He also made mention of the fact that the members of this House are engaged in drama. He accused us collectively of engaging in drama. He also accused us collectively of misinforming the country. Right Honourable Speaker, his last remarks were about the Right Honourable Impuga, and he made mention of the fact that he had arrived and was seeking perhaps recognition. All these issues, Right Honourable Speaker, offend our rules, and we should not leave them on record. This rule is otherwise known as the law against casting aspersion. Right Honourable Speaker, may I move that any reference or references made by the said minister that offend the rule be expunged from the record. I beg to move.
Now, honorable colleagues, you see, it's difficult for me when you stand up to know what you want to say. Okay? So, and Honorable Mao made a sign to me that he had indeed, should I say, apologized or what? But I think it needed to be on record because I was accused of colluding with offering aid, I think, yes, to Honorable Semuju to swallow him. To swallow him. No, Honorable colleagues, that's, I can never do that. I mentioned it clear that I can never do that. And the unfortunate bit is not here, he has moved. Usually, we want a colleague to come on the floor and maybe justify or withdraw, because that was a very, very serious statement. If I'm accused Now, I give you space to speak. You go for each other, then I'm accused, I'm saying I'm aiding. But me, I'm supposed to pick members to speak. It's up to you to be cautious to ensure that what you say is within the confines of our rules of procedure. Now that he's not here, and those statements are disturbing, because you're questioning me as if I colluded with someone, finished someone here. It's very unfortunate. I think I will instruct the clerk under Rule 229 of Rules of Procedure to review and look at only those aspects. Only those aspects. To expunge that aspect. But I mean, this is a straight matter, where the Speaker, 229, where the Speaker is of the opinion that the words that have been used in debate are defamatory, indecent, unparliamentary, or undignified. The Speaker shall order that such words be expunged from the official record of Parliament. I therefore want to take this opportunity to exercise my power and order that that part is expunged. Thank you. The part, let me be specific. One, where the Speaker, the presiding officer, was accused of aiding. Number two, where the House was accused of being involved in a drama. No. Yeah, there is, and on both sides. If Honorable Semuju, also put it on that side. Okay? Honorable Jonathan Odura has reminded me that we've ever done a drama here on several occasions. Let me stick to that one over choosing the Speaker. Let me stick to that one over choosing the Speaker. Okay? The rest are debatable. We check our conduct. Okay? Point of privilege? Honorable.
Yes, sir. Let me be very clear. Thank you. That I don't mind the banter between myself and the Honorable Ma. We normally do that, and I cannot take that to be personal, because I normally do it to others, and I don't take offense when somebody does that. But then, the matter of privilege is that representation is a right and an obligation. For a minister to come here and does not answer directly the question you have asked, and simply veers into banter, is a problem. And then it disappears. And when we rise on procedural matter to put him correctly to answer the questions, Mr. Speaker, undermines our role of representation. I want to be on record that Honorable Mao did not answer anything. He simply veered into banter and disappeared, Honorable Speaker. And I'm not sure those who read the question raised and his answers, how they rate him, and how we shall go back to our people that want these questions answered, will judge the Honorable Mao. So other than speaking in colloquial English, he answered nothing. So I don't know how you guide Honorable Speaker when our role is undermined and the member simply veers, fails to answer, and then takes first leave.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now, I think Honorable Mao answered, but not to your satisfaction. I think that's what the record should capture. He answered, but not to your satisfaction. Okay? Number two, honorable colleagues, it is difficult for me to say, no, Honorable Minister, the answer you've given is not satisfactory. So go and bring another good answer. But now, a minister, most of these issues, he's committing government. He needs to go back and consult. He might make commitments here which are not tenable. He reaches in the cabinet, they are not allowed. And then we hold him accountable here. Honorable Minister, you promised this. So like we said that he updates us next week. Let this continue. Let it be a continuous process. Honorable colleagues, next item, our time is gone. We are already 4 p.m. I'm going to, let us first do item 7, then we come back to item 6.
Item 7 on the order paper, Statement by the Right Honourable Prime Minister on government business for the succeeding week, 11-13 February 2025, pursuant to Rule 28 of the Rules of Procedure.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable members, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank members for welcoming our speakers and deputy speakers from Kakumiro district. You are most welcome. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I move under Rule 28 of our Rules of Procedure that requires me, as the leader of government business, to make a statement in the House regarding the government business of the succeeding week. I therefore submit the following businesses for the succeeding week from 11th to 13th February 2025. 1. The Uganda Railways Bill 2025. 2. The Minister of Health will give a statement on the status of the monkeypox disease in the country, Ebola outbreak in the country, and the cholera outbreak in Lamu district local government. Number 3, a statement by the Minister for Presidency on the commemoration of Archbishop Janan Rumu's Memorial Day. That Honourable Speaker and honourable members, number 4, a statement by the Minister for Kampala and the Metropolitan Area on the status of solid waste or garbage management in the Greater Kampala and Metropolitan areas. Number 5, the statement by the Minister of Water and Environment on the weather forecast in the country. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Next, Right Honourable Prime Minister, sorry. Next item.
Item 5 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament authorize government to allocate budgets for the financial year 2024/2025 and revise work plans for the second batch of institutions affected under the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditures in brackets RAPEX reform.
Honourable Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move a motion for the House to consider reallocation of budget estimates for financial year 2024-25 and revision of work plans for the institutions affected under rationalization of government agencies and public expenditures reform, commonly known as RAPEX. I beg to move, Right Honourable Speaker.
Is the motion seconded? The Government Chief Whip, Honourable Pachito. Honourable Katumba, Right Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Moroni, Honourable Komake, Honourable Norman, and many members of the House. Honourable Minister, I want to speak to your motion. And Honourable Mricha was the first
Thank
to stand up.
Mr. Speaker and colleagues, in accordance with Section 19 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171, and Rule 56 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I have moved a motion to consider the work plans for the second batch of institutions affected by rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure reform. Right Honourable Speaker, His Excellency the President assented to an additional 9 bills following parliamentary approval. to ensure uninterrupted service delivery as we implement the transition process, there is a need to transfer or reallocate the prospective budgets of the affected institutions to enable the receiving institutions take on the rationalized functions. Right Honorable Speaker, we are required to reallocate budgets and revised work plans for the following 13 institutions. 1. Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA. 2. Uganda Road Fund. 3. Ministry of Works and Transport. 4. Dairy Development Authority. 5. National Agricultural Advisory Services, NADS. 6. Cotton Development Organization. 7. Uganda Coffee Development Authority, UCDA. 8. Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries. Uganda Free Zone Authority. 10. Export Promotion Board and Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authority. And the second last, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. And 13, Higher Education Students Financing Board. Mr. Speaker, a total of 2.4 trillion is the approved budget for rationalized institutions. At the end of quarter 2, an amount of Uganda shillings 1.17 trillion had been released, leaving a balance of Uganda shillings 1.27 trillion, of which 33.39 billion is a projected saving as disaggregated in the annex which I will lay on table. The above savings are to be realized from board expenses, medical expenses, NSSF, contract gratuity, and rationalization of staff and their salaries. Therefore, the funds available for transfer amounts to Uganda shillings 1.241 trillion. Right Honorable Speaker, the above savings will be deducted from the affected votes in the MTF for financial year 2025-2026. However, in the current financial year, the releases, the affected votes, will be reduced by the computed savings and repurpose finance some of the emerging funding needs during the year and will be presented to this House for approval. Mr. Speaker, you may wish to note that the funds for retrenchment costs for the affected staff under the above institutions will be provided this financial year 2024-25 in line with the recommendations of the Ministry of Public Service. The retrenchment costs were not included in the approved budget for financial year 24-25 since the bills had not yet been assented to by His Excellency the President at the time of finalization of the budget. Mr. Speaker, with this justification, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Committee Chair.
Mr. Speaker and colleagues, aware that the Minister has already put up a motion and aware that yesterday we handled batch 1 and under the same process batch 2 was handled. Would therefore like to lay on table the report of the committee together with the minutes of the meetings and the work plans of the entities. I beg to lay. Mr. Speaker, this House should take note that out of all those rationalized entities, most of them are going to have adjustments within the same votes. So the money will stay in the votes. It's only The affected votes are going to be National Identification Registration Authority, Ministry of Works, Ministry of Agriculture, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority, National Planning Authority, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions. So those are the only ones going to be affected that will require transferring money. Mr. Speaker, I therefore, having had enough of the discussions, pray that we adopt the report and go straight to have the money supplied to those few votes. I beg to move.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, this is in line with yesterday's principle, which we agreed upon. Okay, and we said we receive this because the issues of yesterday are the issues of today in the same report. Honourable Minister, what I remember, one of the issues which I want to confirm is that the new vote which you had created, you have an accounting officer for it. We want it on record to know the name of the accounting officer, to be sure. So I request you to lay if you have it ready.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the document under my hand has a heading that reads as follows. Mr. Masagazi Deogracius, Under Secretary, Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Appointment of Accounting Officer for financial year 2024-2025. And this letter is dated 6th February 2025. It is signed by Ramadan Gobi, Permanent Secretary / Secretary to the Treasury. I therefore wish to confirm with this supporting document that vote 168, Free Zones and Export Promotion, has an accounting officer duly appointed. I beg to lay.
Thank you. No, Honorable Guzuri stood up first. Issue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm glad the Minister is attempting to act in accordance to with his commitments yesterday. We are getting into, according to the chair, we are getting into supplies, but to the best of my knowledge, the report he has presented here has not been looked into by the various sectoral committees to acquaint themselves thoroughly and justify what they want to do. And as a process provided in the law, if we move as they are trying to do, Mr. Speaker, you should be sure you will be presiding over an illegal exercise, because whatever they are bringing here must have been looked into by the sectoral committees first. So you will have to decide whether you want to join in that illegality or you want this house to move as provided in the law. I just thought this should be on record so that we choose as a country how the public out there should look at us. Whether we want to jump steps.
Thank you. Colleagues, this is a matter which was settled yesterday. Okay? This is not in the law, but part of our procedure. And we discussed the same report of today, the same report of yesterday. And no, Vasarura, you were not here. Please allow us to finish our work. We were here. We concluded on this. Honorable colleagues, I put the question that the motion for a resolution of Parliament authorize government to reallocate budgets for the financial 2024-2025 and revise work plans for the second batch of institutions affected under the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditures, RAPEX reform, be adopted. Those in favor say aye, and the contrary nay. No. The ayes have it. Thank you. Next item.
Item number 6 on the order paper. Motion for the House to resolve itself into a committee of supply to consider supplementary schedule number 2 for financial year 2024-2025.
Honourable Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion for the House to resolve itself into a committee of supply to consider the supplementary schedule number 2 for financial year 2024-2025. I beg to move.
The motion seconded. Government Chief Whip Chairman Nisiagi, Honorable Shatse, Honorable Milton, Honorable Margaret, Honorable Komakes, Dr. Pio, Honorable Kabe, Norman, Nyakato, Kajweze, Rionga, many members. Biga Rose, Aber, Katumba Wamara. Honorable Minister, do you have to speak to your motion?
Mr. Speaker and colleagues, Parliament approved the total budget of Uganda shillings 72.137 trillion for financial year 2024-25, disaggregated as follows. Uganda shillings 34.318 trillion appropriated budget by Parliament, and Uganda shillings 37.819 trillion as statutory expenditure. Right Honorable Speaker, Section 24 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171, states that the total supplementary expenditure that requires additional resources over and above what is approved by Parliament shall not exceed 3% of the total approved budget for that financial year without approval of Parliament. And 2, where the funds are expended under subsection 1, supplementary estimates showing the sums spent shall be laid before Parliament within 4 months after the money is spent. Right Honorable Speaker and members, His Excellency the President assented the first and second batch of the RAPEX bills in July and December 2024 respectively. Consequently, I tabled motions for resolution of Parliament to authorize the reallocation of budgets and revision of work plans for the RAPEX affected votes. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, out of the 11 votes receiving the rationalized functions, only 6 require transfer of funds from the rationalized entities, while 5 votes require reallocations within the same vote to mainstream the rationalized functions and all subventions under the newly created departments. 5 votes include Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. This is vote 1018. Vote 015, Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Vote 022, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. Vote 009, Ministry of Internal Affairs. And vote 013, Ministry of Education and Sports. Right Honorable Speaker and members, following Parliament's approval of budgetary allocation for institutions affected by RAPEX, I have accordingly prepared supplementary schedule number 2, totaling to Uganda shillings 1.243 trillion for the 6 votes. This supplementary expenditure is to facilitate the transfer of funds from the rationalized votes to the receiving institutions to implement the mandate and functions of the rationalized institutions. This is disaggregated as follows. 1. Recurrent Uganda shillings 296.027 billion. 2. Development Uganda shillings 940.097 billion. 3. Statutory Uganda shillings 7.066 billion. Mr. Speaker, I provide details of this supplementary as follows. Recurrent expenditure. Vote 137, National Identification Registration Authority, NIRA, Uganda shillings 1.036 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure and operationalize the civil registration functions transferred from Uganda Registration Services Bureau, URSB. Vote 019, Ministry of Water and Environment, Uganda shillings 7.178 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure and operationalize the functions received from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Vote 016, Ministry of Works and Transport, Uganda shillings 246.155 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure and operationalize the functions received from National Roads Authority and Uganda Road Fund. Vote 010, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda shillings 32.781 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure and operationalize the functions received from the following rationalized votes. 1. Dairy Development Authority, DDA. 2. National Agricultural Advisory Services, NADS. 3. Cotton Development Authority, Cotton Development Organization. 4. Uganda Coffee Development Authority, UCDA.
Honourable Minister, let me cross-check. Do we have this uploaded, clerk? Because members need to look at these figures. It's very critical. Yeah. Clerk, can I have a copy uploaded so that members go? Because these figures, we can't leave members to just read, take on face value. No, colleagues, let's stand on this for 10 minutes, okay? And we have the item uploaded, and we return here. House suspended for 10 minutes.
Power bank of my heart, the sugar of my milk tea.
I'm glad you're here. Today by